Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democrat from Hawaii, and she just recently announced her intention to seek the presidency in 2020. She appeared on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, and she blamed Democrats and Republicans for the shutdown and for refusing to compromise. So we have a clip from that appearance.
Trump is putting forward different ideas. Democrats have put forward different ideas. But the problem here and why we're in a situation where over 800,000 federal employees are going for now a month without a paycheck and suffering as a result is because of the unwillingness to actually just sit down and work through the details that each side is putting forward, knowing that neither side is going to get everything that they need. That's what needs to happen here.
So I understand you don't support the offer that President Trump made, but what's your counter offer? I mean, if you want people to sit down and deal, what do you think should happen?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think it should be done on television. These negotiations shouldn't be done on television. We need to have adults coming together, sitting down and negotiating the issues that have to be addressed. The issues of border security, the issues of making sure that we've got the resources dedicated to where they need to be, and the issues that are still outstanding regarding immigration and immigration reform. Some of them have been talked about, dealing with our dreamers who are still facing uncertainty, who still have no permanency to their futures here in the only home that they've ever known, as well as the issue of TPS. I think there are a whole host of issues that need to be addressed, but they cannot be addressed so long as both sides are not willing to come together and have a real conversation and hash out the differences and come up with something that works best for the American people.
That's interesting, though, because you sound like you're not just blaming President Trump on this, you're also blaming Democratic leaders in Congress.
Both sides have completely hardened their positions and are unwilling to come together and work out the differences, and that's the problem here.
Is it just me, or is this whole thing just not that complicated? If person A initiates a shutdown because they can't obtain funding for X, then the shutdown is on person A, right? It's that simple. What I did notice is that Tulsi Gabbard had a lot of criticisms for both parties.
Yeah.
And did not respond directly to a question. Was it Jake Tapper?
Right.
He asked.
About what the counter proposal
about
was.
First of all, you're running for president. So don't give me this bullshit about this shouldn't be negotiated in public. You are fucking running for president. That seemed like a very sly way of getting away from talking about it. And actually, to me, it illustrated what I think she was trying to do, and Jake Tapper trying to get her out of that. And it looked like she was bug dancing. She was bug dancing for this both sidisms type bullshit, and trying to fall in the middle in a situation where that actually isn't called for. Sometimes that's actually a legitimate way to approach it, but I don't think this is that situation. You see what I'm saying?
Again, you said this is an individual that's running for president in 2020 now. Now, you know our stance. We have much contempt. We have much disagreement with the Democratic Party. I mean, we talk about the Democratic Party many times, and again, we have many criticisms of that. On this issue, we don't, because we understand that it's Donald Trump that is holding up this process. It is Mitch McConnell that is holding up this process. They want this border wall, and there's no rationale behind it. At least there's no legitimate, logical rationale behind it, because it's not going to serve the intended purpose. It's not going to do what they say it's going to do, right? So it's a complete waste of money. So I'm completely with the Democratic Party and saying that, no, we're not going to back down. We're not going to cave in. No, we're not going to support this vanity project. Tulsi Gabbard, in trying to just stay in the middle, just straddle that fence, is trying to put the blame on the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Again, she, at the beginning of this conversation, said that she would not take the deal offered by President Trump on Saturday. She would not take the deal. So why would she have contempt for the Democratic Party and say that both parties they've hardlined their positions and they will not negotiate with one another now?
Think about that. She said she would not take the deal and then said that they're taking a hardline position. those two things contradict one another.
Exactly.
Like, I understand people's frustration with the Democratic Party. Because this, like how she answered the question had nothing to do with her being frustrated with the system or both parties. Her answer was a direct reflection of about how she feels about the Democratic Party. And I understand that frustration. But people have become so toxic towards them that they'll find a way to be against them even when they're right. Like, there's no need to bash Dems on something phony and truncated when there's a laundry list of grievances like that we can like illustrate.
Right. Like, there's many criticisms that you can have about the Democratic Party. And we talk about it, I mean, we've been talking about it for over 2 years. But to create some type of controversy and include them in it and say, like, yeah, they're just as responsible as the Republicans. Oh, you're being phony. You're being absolutely phony, especially in the same interview in which you say, well, Trump's offer, I definitely wouldn't take it. No, I wouldn't take it either. So what the hell are you saying then? It's a bad offer. I wouldn't take it. So I guess by you saying you wouldn't take it, I guess you would be leading to say that the Democratic Party shouldn't take it. But they're so hardline that they won't negotiate. We understand that President Trump, this is a take it or leave it type of situation. President Trump wants his $5.7 billion. The Democratic Party is saying, no, sorry, we're not. No, first of all, we're not going to be held hostage. OK, second of all, you shouldn't be holding these 800,000 plus government workers hostage as well. Open up the government and then we can try to negotiate. That's the first step. All right, we're not going to negotiate while you're holding people hostage. So that's their position. I think that's a pretty good hardline position. To not have that hardline position, you would be saying that the Democratic Party should pay for a wall.
Oh, see, I'm glad you went there because that's where I was going next. Because if she's suggesting that the Democrats should just cave, which it sounds like she's suggesting, what is she saying? Whether she realizes it or not. What is she saying? What is she saying? They should just cave. So therefore, she's kind of loosely an approval of a fucking wall.
But at the same time saying that she wouldn't approve of the deal.
At the same time. See, that's why when someone is caught in a contradiction, then you know what they're trying to do.
They're dancing.
They're dancing. When they're caught in the contradiction, she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready to actually have like questions. Like, she wasn't ready to take questions on this issue, and it obviously shows here. And to me, I'm a little disappointed in Tulsi because she either one, there's only really two places you can go with this. She's either one, doesn't know what the fuck is going on, or two, being disingenuous. You either have two of those choices. I think she's being disingenuous because I think we know what's going on.
Right.
We know that both parties have already come together and pretty much decided what they wanted to do. Yeah. We've talked about that all the time. We've talked about that for the last couple of weeks. So for Tulsi Gabbard to say that like the parties need to come together and work, like that's what they have already done. It's Mitch McConnell who's kind of tying this up and holding it up, and Donald Trump and his advisory committee. So I don't understand like where she's getting that from. Like, there's already been a deal made. So that's what tells me she's just fucking tap dancing. And it's not the right kind of tap dancing too. And just from the responses that I've seen and the various articles I've read based on this interview and her comments, she fucked up, yo. No, she fucked up. She fucked up because I guarantee you. I was like, first of all, you don't fuck up this early. Not so soon after you announce your presidential run. You don't fuck up this early. Like,
not on something that is illogical.
This is gonna screw her up in the damn primaries.
Because again, she's gonna, like it or not, she's gonna need help from the Democratic Party if she actually wants to
be a viable candidate.
Yeah, exactly. If she actually wants that nomination, she's gonna need a little bit of help. In an area where the Democratic Party they actually did not deserve to be criticized, she did that just to straddle that fence and make it seem as though she's neutral or she's balanced. She's fair and balanced. She can actually take an objective look and not be partisan.
Basically say she's being fake.
She's being fake as hell.
And if you just